Donald Trump has been making some moves this week, tipping his hand and suggesting that he knows something that we don't. These move and Trump's cryptic posts hint that something massive for Bitcoin is about to drop in an upcoming report. Could he be sitting on secrets that send Bitcoin soaring, or is he playing us all? Probably. And he's not alone in this. Major financial heavyweights are also stepping up their Bitcoin announcements that would position them to win big if this bull market kicks up a notch. Politicians, Wall Street titans, and big banks, it's a big club, and we know that they all talk. Additionally, we just had the Genius Act signed into law, and there's something you probably haven't heard before regarding stablecoins that could unlock Bitcoin's next big leap. All of this, of course, happening while Bitcoin smashes a record daily close. What does Trump know that we don't? What's next for Bitcoin? Will Chad ever propose to Stacey? Don't go anywhere. We've got the receipts and the players behind this unfolding drama. I am Nathan with the BTC Sessions, and this is your weekly session. All right, let me go ahead and get in my wonderful co-host with the most. Let me welcome to the stage Mr. Gary Mahmood. Gary, how are you doing today, fine sir?
I'm doing all right. Chad doesn't know how good he has it. He's got a shitter get off the pot.
Oh, that's beautiful, my friend. I just absolutely, that was perfect. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's get in. Let's start diving through some of these things here. And first and foremost, we did have a record close for Bitcoin. So let me just get a little bit adjusted here. Beautiful. Bring up our smiling faces. There we are, our sweep. So on Tuesday, July 22nd, Bitcoin had its highest daily close of $120,011. And I got to say, like, it kind of feels to me like, I know we're in a bull market, but it doesn't really feel like a bull market. I'm not sure how things have been going for you, Gary, so far.
I think we're just spoiled, man. It's all gravy. We're doing great.
No, fair enough. What?
Until,
there we go. Jim Cramer had to come along and say something positive about Bitcoin. Jim Cramer says he wants to own Bitcoin as a hedge against the $37 trillion of U.S. debt. Let's go ahead and have a quick listen to what Jim had to say.
I think people want to own some as a hedge against the $8 trillion. They want to own a debt. They want to own it for their kids. And you know who else feels that way? Me. I don't want that debt. My kids. I'm worried about my kids. Worried about your kids.
And I got to say, that actually caught me off guard. I did not expect him to bring up the kids. And I could be wrong. I could be fooled, right? I can't read the man's mind. But the way he said his kids, the way that he brought that up, it actually felt genuine to me. Like we might be seeing the early signs. Everyone comes to Bitcoin eventually. I wonder if old Jimmy Boy might actually be coming around.
He might be. I have no reason to think he's not sincere. I think he's been definitely off base with his predictions in the past. But now that he is sincere, I think if I had a 40 on me, I'd pour one out for Bitcoin. I'm sorry, guys. It's over.
It's done. Bitcoin's dead. Nope. It'll be a cheap sat buying opportunity if the reverse Kramer has its traditional move. But want to get into these stuff with Donald Trump. So we had some cryptic tweets and then some announcement coming out from him and from Trump media. So starting off with the cryptic tweets. Trump put out on July 20th, there we go, July 20th, he put out just the, quote, greatest Bitcoin explanation of all time. And here we have a video of Peter Venkelberg, I apologize if I get that wrong, executive director at Coin Center, testifying before the Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs in 2018. There was a lot in this that was actually very, very well spoken and well done, but I want to play a little bit from the end here if I can.
The internet removed single points of failure in communications infrastructure and ushered in a wave of competition among new media corporations building on top of its public rails. Blockchains can similarly disintermediate critical payments and IoT infrastructure. The technology is not yet ready to answer all of those questions today, but it is our best hope. And as with the internet in the 1990s, we need a light touch, pro-innovation policy to ensure that these innovations flourish in America for the benefit and security of all Americans.
Now, Gary, I'm curious what your take on this was, if it was just a good video and so he's throwing it up, or what he may be kind of going for there. Initially, I thought that this was pointing back to the recently signed Genius Act, and I'm going to touch on that as well, too. But I think it's also hinting at what's to come in the coming weeks here. But just, Gary, kind of initial thoughts, my friend.
Yes, hinting, very subtly
Very
hinting.
subtly hinting.
Because if there's anything Trump is known for, it's subtlety.
That's true.
If you haven't seen the whole video, check it out. I sincerely hope you do, because I only saw it for the first time when he posted it. I'd never seen it before, much to my discredit. And it was a wonderful video, great explanation. I've shown it around to a few friends who just haven't really gotten it up till now. And I don't know what's better, this one or the guy who did the buy Bitcoin during the Fed confirmation hearing from back in like 2013. I can't decide which is my favorite like congressional testimony Bitcoin video, but it's great. It's a not so subtle hint. We all know where this is going.
No, absolutely. And I got to say, I would probably go with the yellow legal pad buy Bitcoin. I bet you that image, that meme has orange pilled or brought more people into the space. It's just, it's human nature, right? It's funny. It's interesting. That probably did a lot more for Bitcoin adoption, unfortunately, than this great testimony actually did.
Yeah.
And so looking at this is kind of pointing back to the Genius Act. I did want to talk about it. I did want to bring it up here. But before I do, I got it right here. There we go. So we did have the Genius Act signed into law here on July 18th. Again, it's all about stablecoins. We're Bitcoin here, right? We're a Bitcoin channel. We're a Bitcoin focus. My hope is that stablecoins kind of normalize using this sort of thing and bring people into the Bitcoin space, particularly with things like AQUA. When you got the two right there, it's an easy switch. Now you're seeing the price. It's kind of just normalizing this as a currency medium, as even in a store of value as well too. So I think that's a big benefit. But Gary, you and I had a wonderful conversation with Luke Groman recently that will be coming out maybe later next week. And something that he pointed out to me in terms of what this could actually do for Bitcoin price was he noticed a bit of a trend, a bit of a correlation there. So like, why do we care about this? So what Luke had mentioned to us is that the stablecoin, the Bitcoin market cap, excuse me, is usually between 2.5 to 12x the stablecoin market cap, meaning that we're usually a multiple much greater, and he's not anticipating that stablecoins at any point in time would ever overcome Bitcoin. At the same time, we've got Secretary the Treasury Scott Bessent looking to basically push out like trillions of dollars into stablecoins as the new buyer of Treasury, so he can issue a whole bunch at the front end of the curve. And even just doing some quick calculations here, we can see, I got this nice tab right here. Currently, right now, the Bitcoin market cap over the stablecoin market cap is sitting at a factor of about 8. So currently, Bitcoin market cap is 8 times the size of the stablecoin market cap. If they were to push $3 trillion of treasuries into the stablecoin market cap at an 8x, that would put us at a 24 trillion Bitcoin market cap, and there's your million Bitcoin right there. So some wonderful, glorious chart porn and price porn for you. Gary's got some crazy shit going on in the background. Ignore
I apologize. That's my children.
Children gonna children. We're all doing this for the kids. But that is why I think the Genius Act is really going to feed into Bitcoin. And I think that's a position that not only we have or that we're looking at right now, I think a lot of other people are as well. And of course, getting back to, okay, what else did Trump do? What moves did he make here? So the day after he posted that cryptic video, Trump media buys $2 billion worth of Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related securities. Wow. I wonder if he's trying to pump his bags at all. Gary, any thoughts on that one?
I think it's fairly self-explanatory. I don't think you need much insight from me. You're all smart.
Yeah, we've all got this one. We've got it figured out. It looks to me like some of the players in the space maybe have filled up on corn and they're ready to maybe push it to the next layer up. Of course, all speculation, but it would seem that they're at least positioning themselves in that sort of matter. And they're not the only ones as well, too. So, but before I get to that, what else do we have coming on? What was the report that I hinted out in the beginning as well? So we've got, it was announced on July 23rd. Bo Hines just said President Trump digital asset report is done and will be released on July 30th. Now, again, Gary, I keep playing with the same theme over and over and over again, but do you suspect that Trump might already know what is in this digital asset report that will come out basically a week from now?
Okay, and this report is going to be released, right?
Why was there one that didn't come out that everybody was asking for? That seems
I don't know.
Really, really shady.
I don't know. I'm just asking. It's possible he might know something, or I would say it's probable that somebody close to him knows something and advised him that this would be good for him, and that's probably more what he knows.
That's probably the way it's going. And yes, included in this report, we are likely to see some information on the SBR and possible plans for the budget neutral acquisition. So how they might be adding to it, how they would want to achieve and accomplish that. The Treasury could report their holdings, but they're not obligated to. And there's also regulatory and innovation proposals that could be included. So I think we got a big report coming out. We just had the Genius Act. Things are kind of moving in at least unfortunately, it's like a pro crypto way, but it's pro Bitcoin way as well too. And so I think everybody's kind of loading up, and we're still in the early innings of this bull run.
We are insanely early. I mean, not just the bull run, but just of everything. We're early, guys. Believe me, we're early.
We are so unbelievably early. But of course, Donald Trump is not alone. I would imagine that other players in the space would maybe have a hint of the information, or maybe they're just coming to Jesus and joining Bitcoin as well too. We have JP Morgan considers Bitcoin-backed loans as CEO Jamie Dimon softens stance. And, this was always going to come, right? But we're going to have a major bank looking at using Bitcoin as collateral and using it to back loans. And the one thing that I really want to kind of even just pause on for a second and point out is that compared to the existing infrastructure that we have right now for Bitcoin-backed loans, there's not an opportunity cost for JP Morgan here. If Gary is going to use, HODLHODL or DEBIFI or something and do a Bitcoin-backed loan, both parties are actually giving up the opportunity cost. One is giving up the Bitcoin for the loan, and one is giving up the USD at that point in time as well. So there's there's opportunity cost on both sides, which is going to drive the required yield for that arrangement kind of up. When JP Morgan, and you can think of this like as a mortgage, when JP Morgan issues a mortgage, they're not taking money from one account and then shuffling it to another one. They're creating new credit units on the spot. They're printing money. It's just an asset and liability entry on their double entry accounting.
Yeah.
And creating the dollars, which means that these guys have the power to create dollars to give against Bitcoin loans. It's going to drive up M2. It's going to lower probably the interest rate that you get on a Bitcoin-backed loan. I think that this is probably going to be a pretty big thing in the coming years. Gary, your thoughts on this?
I'm just thinking if it's going to lower the interest rate to get in a Bitcoin-backed loan, I guess, because this is going to drive up price. So people are going to want more Bitcoin. I'm trying to think. This is so beyond my pay grade to figure out how this is going to work out. Nate, you're smarter than me. Or do those two counteract, or do they dovetail each other? Those two effects.
Just number go up, and I know that. And guys, don't take leverage. Don't take leverage. Please don't take leverage.
No,
but you absolutely know that a lot of people, they're like, are going to give me a Bitcoin-backed loan at 5%, 70% loan to value, and they are just. There's going to be some kind of. They're going to take that loan, buy more Bitcoin. Take a loan against that Bitcoin, buy more Bitcoin, and it's going to get a little bit stupid. But that's how we get the euphoria moments, right? I'm still a believer that I don't think the cycles are necessarily dead. I still think we're going to have a blow up at some point in time. It will be because of stupid leveraged plays like that. But banks coming to Bitcoin, it was always going to happen. It's money for enemies. Bitcoin banking was going to be a thing. You guys know that self-custody is the best way and really the only way to truly hold Bitcoin. But it's nice to see the space evolve. There's nothing we can do about it. We might as well try and benefit from it and enjoy the price pump that comes along with it. Additionally, also, and again, this JP Morgan announcement was on the same day as Trump buy announcement. And on that same day as well, too, we had 325 billion banking giant PNC partners with Coinbase to expand Bitcoin buy and sell offers to their clients. So again, it's getting integrated. You can't fight against Bitcoin. It's that whole Trojan horse kind of theory. We're going to see more and more stuff like that continue to pop up. And the last one that I had that just dropped yesterday as well, too, was Fidelity amends Bitcoin ETF agreement to allow in-kind redemptions and in-kind creation as well, too. Before I dive into that a little bit more, Gary, do you have any thoughts on anything I've said or this one in particular?
No, I'm just jazzed about this one in particular. Say bye-bye to paper Bitcoin, at least partially, hopefully.
Right. That was exactly my thoughts as well, too, is that this is the kind of check that we need on the system, that in-kind creation, in-kind redemption, to at least to a better degree, hold any custody providers, any ETFs accountable that they can't be playing, Bitcoin shenanigans behind the scene. It's going to add an additional layer of risk for doing any sort of paper Bitcoin game. So yeah, it was just yesterday, Fidelity filed to allow in-kind redemptions and creations. There are also reports that some customers have already been using this or testing it out, but the SEC, has not yet approved it, and it's anticipated for October. So lots kind of going on there. A lot of bullish news. It's on the corporate side, it's on the government side, but still it is relatively meaningful when it comes to the price of Bitcoin.
Is it enough to counteract the bearish news from Jim Cramer? That's my only concern. How does this level off?
I think if you stack up enough like JP Morgan's and Trump clearly filling his bags and then trying to pump his bags against Jim Cramer, we might have a quick correction. That might be good for picking up a few extra cheap sats, but probably still going to have a fun summer. And I think it's still a very interesting fall. But with that, guys, we are going to take a quick break for shout out to our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to be giving away some sats from Bitcoin Well, and then jumping into some additional news, some Adam Back news, and some interesting news out of the UK. So stick around, don't go anywhere. We will be right back with you.
Looking for a simple and secure way to manage your Bitcoin on mobile? AQUA Wallet has you covered. It's user-friendly and puts you in full control of your Bitcoin with secure self-custody. AQUA also supports Lightning and Liquid Network, making fast, cheap Bitcoin payments and asset transfers easier than ever. Plus, it even supports stablecoins, giving you ultimate flexibility. Built on open source code, AQUA is transparent, trustworthy, and perfect for beginner and pros alike. Ready to upgrade your Bitcoin experience? Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen now to download AQUA Wallet today. Securing your Bitcoin doesn't have to be complicated or invasive. With NUNCHUK's HONEYBADGER plan, you get state-of-the-art multisig with built-in inheritance planning and no KYC required. NUNCHUK is trusted by users to secure billions of dollars in Bitcoin. The HONEYBADGER plan offers 204 assisted multisig, guiding you step-by-step on mobile or desktop. It works seamlessly with hardware wallets like TapSigner, ColdCard, Jade, and plenty of others, so you're always in control. Plus, with non-KYC inheritance planning, you can ensure your Bitcoin goes to your loved ones. No private info needed. Take control of your Bitcoin today. Click the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen to check out the HONEYBADGER plan. CoinKite has been in the game for years, creating hands down the best and most secure hardware when it comes to securing your Bitcoin. The ColdCard Q is an absolute powerhouse and my daily driver, and it's ideal for newcomers and advanced users alike. The TapSigner gives you a low-cost, user-friendly option for those just getting started or for convenience when traveling. You can head to coinkite.com and use code BTC Sessions for discounts, or simply scan the QR code on the screen to get started right away.
All right. We are back, and we are going to go ahead and we are going to give away some sats. So, some of my sats, actually, we're going to be giving away some of Ben's sats and some of Ben's points as well, too, which for anyone who's curious, the man is taking the first vacation where he's actually stepping away for a little bit in 9 years. Well-deserved, and I hope he's having an absolutely wonderful, fantastic time. So, he's not here. Maybe we'll play twice. Let's go ahead. This is Bitcoin Well, of course. You can collect points anytime that you DCA, that you buy Bitcoin, or that you refer a friend. And you can use those points to get wonderful things like orange Cybertrucks or some interesting gear. And you can also toss them into the Bitcoin Wishing Well to get some free sats. So let's go ahead. Let's hit that random number generator and pull some up right now. We're going to redeem 500 points. Get out those lightning wallets. First one to scan the QR code gets them. If you're doing it and it's not working, it means that somebody's beat you to it. And if you did get it, go ahead and let us know down in the chat below. I'm going to leave that up there for one more second. But again, these aren't my sats. These are Ben's sats. Let's do it one more time. I want to see if I can get a higher number. We're at 607. One more time. Let's spend his points because they ain't ours. Redeem 500 points. All right. And what do we have? 524. So the first person got the bigger chunk, but either way, some free sats for you there. Again, let us know if you got those down below. So continuing, Gary, are you familiar with this image right here? Do you know what we're looking at on the screen?
Yeah. That's the Genesis block.
Absolutely. And there was a wonderful little message tucked away in the Genesis block. And I thought it was important to bring this up and refer to it today, and you'll see why in just a second. If you haven't already, we have the Times 03, January 2009, Chancellor on the brink of second bailout for banks. Now, the wonderful Mr. Dr. Adam Back had a similar message just the other day. This was posted on July 19th. 19 July 2025, Bitcoin on the brink of bailout for Chancellor. Now, what on earth could he possibly be referring to? Well, that would be the UK is about to make some terrible decisions. Gary, maybe you can take us through the story here.
Yeah, they're going to sell their Bitcoin to plug their hole in their budget. And I guess you're the one that pointed out to me they got that Bitcoin from a seizure from a Ponzi scheme. So they are using what they got from the Ponzi scheme to shore up their Ponzi scheme.
That's absolutely right. We got Chancellor Rachel Reeves' eyes £5 billion Bitcoin sale to help plug a big giant gaping hole in their budget. It's a 20 billion pound deficit, by the way, as well too. And you're correct. This was the result of a seizure related to some sort of Chinese Ponzi. And the irony there is not lost on me. And again, referring back, I got the wonderful man, Mr. Groman. He pointed something out to me. This I think is what counters Cramer. This is why Cramer is absolutely wrong. Because apparently when it comes to timing the bottom, there's nobody better than the UK. Have you heard of this before, Gary?
Oh, what are we? Please tell me.
Okay, we have in 1999 to 2002, the United Kingdom sold half its gold reserves. And I love the nickname that they have for this. This is wonderful, beautiful. So it's because of Chancellor Gordon Brown. So this is referred to as the Brown Bottom or Brown's Bottom. Seems like a perfectly fitting name.
Sounds right.
The period takes its name from Gordon Brown, the Chancellor, who decided to sell approximately half the UK's gold reserves in a series of auctions. This amounts to 395 tons of gold sold for $3.5 billion. The gold price has increased at an average rate of 8% annually in the 25 years since then. The price at which he started to sell that gold at was $282 per ounce. Like, you couldn't have done a better job of ticking the bottom. And I really hope that Rachel decides to sell the Bitcoin. Go for it, Rachel.
I don't know if Cramer was on TV at the time, but I wonder if we could find if he actually endorsed this, because that would make complete sense.
99? He probably was, dude.
Yeah, he had that show Kudlow and Kramer, and then Kudlow left, and it was just him. I just don't remember when he started. But I could easily see him talking about how wonderful a move this is.
I completely agree. I would love to, someone out there, if there's a clip of Cramer talking about how this is a smart strategic move, sell your gold right now, the whole Mad Money style, the UK is doing the best thing possible for the taxpayers. And it looks like they're about to do it again, just like Germany, right? Germany was lost out on 100% gain right now because of the moves that they made.
I mean, don't we say governments get Bitcoin at the price they deserve? That's how that saying goes, right?
I believe they're right, and I think they're not quite at the stacking it phase. Unlike the U.S. and questionably El Salvador, but I'm not going to touch on that one. Yeah, I have my questions, but I'm not going to touch on that one today. But continuing on, this wasn't the only wonderful news that we had from Dr. Adam Back. We also had an interesting quote here that I thought was worth sharing, just because it's wonderful bull porn. All right, there we go. Adam Back says, when Wall Street is at 2% Bitcoin, Bitcoin will be at $1 million. Again, I'm
sorry, what will Bitcoin be at?
$1 million.
I'm sorry, Nathan. What will Bitcoin be at?
$1 million.
Okay.
$1 million.
Thank you. Proceed.
I combined a bunch of characters there. I just need to get my pinky up. But honestly, like I know that these things seem so hyperbolic, but I actually do believe Adam Back believes this when he says this. And I'm not saying that he's necessarily wrong. I'm just saying that I don't think that he's lying. And the reason being is that, of course, if you haven't heard already, he's throwing his name in the ring with Saylor and Mallers and doing the whole Bitcoin Treasury Company thing. So we have Bitcoin Standard Treasury Company to list on the NASDAQ with $3.6 billion in their treasury, already the fourth largest Bitcoin holder. So they've got a total of 30,021 Bitcoin in their war chest already. It was 25,000 that was brought over from Blockstream Capital, and 5,000 BTC was from, I believe, another OG kind of investor. And it's funny because that 25,000 at Blockstream Capital, that's probably just Adam's. I feel like that's just Adam's Bitcoin that he's just shuffling around here at this point.
He's such a mensch.
He's just delightful. I love Dr. Back. Which, again, as I pointed out earlier, that does put them at the fourth place for the Treasury standing list right here. But the one thing that caught my attention when I was looking at this today that I just wanted to point out is that of the top 100 Bitcoin Treasury companies, they're almost at an accumulative million Bitcoin, 612 Bitcoin on the top 100 Treasury companies balance sheet. But basically 2/3 of it is just strategy. It's just strategy. Yep, Gary, your thoughts, my friend?
My thoughts in general when I see this list, that there even is a top 100 Bitcoin Treasury companies list, and I'm in no way original with this thought. It's like, we think of the internet and that original clip you showed of the testimony. If you told people, 20 years ago, these are the top 100 internet companies, and you mentioned it today. Hey, did you hear about the new internet company? Oh, what? You mean like that business that uses the internet like every other business? Guys, it's just going to be companies in the future. It's not going to be Bitcoin Treasury companies, because if you're not storing in Bitcoin, you're done. You're just sitting on money that's just sloshing away. and you're building on sand. So people will learn in their own time. It's all gravy, long-term thinking, usual stuff.
No, completely agree. I mean, at the end of the day, Bitcoin is just savings technology. And what we have here is a list of 100 companies that just remember that it was possible that they could save. Or actually, in all fairness, a technology came along that allowed them to return to just saving capital and accumulating capital for the business, for the future, for future expenditures. And so I agree. And in the long run, again, everyone's using Bitcoin. In the long run, this show makes absolutely no sense because there's no email shows going on at the same point in time as well.
Exactly.
It will just become part of everyday life. I'm curious, Gary. So for me, I kind of go back and forth in this, and actually it was, I'll talk about it more later too. There's a recent interview that had HODL on it, and he was talking about this possibly being like a Bitcoin treasury bubble, that for him, it seems similar. If I understand correctly, if I remember it correctly, it seems similar to the kind of .com bubble, but that doesn't mean that this is something that's going to pop anytime soon with all these Bitcoin treasury companies. It could be in the very early stages, and we'd probably get a correction at some point, but that could be years out. And I've often said that for me, it does feel like the 2017 ICO craze. Like it's just the thing to do, right? We bought Bitcoin, buy our paper.
Yeah.
And so that makes me very hesitant. But in the Why Are We Bullish episode with Michael Saylor and Ben that dropped just yesterday, I had never considered when he was talking about these companies aren't all that levered, that it's coming from an equity position. And so there's not that much basically debt risk at play, that they're not really in a position, like they may be 5% levered, kind of it was what he was saying at kind of the max position. They're not really in a spot where they could blow up. I'm curious, Gary, your thoughts on this. Because again, I'm Bitcoin only, self-custody. Absolutely. That's what I recommend. That's what I stand by. That's where I think people should be spending their time and their energy learning these skills and getting and accumulating. But there's so much fervor around this. And I don't think the trend is done, but maybe it's just a old battle scars. I'm just apprehensive about it. How does it resonate for you?
I mean, I guess I'd be a little apprehensive because as you've talked about before and other people have talked about on the show and outside of the show, we know that Saylor is fully on board. He's fully committed. He gets what Bitcoin is on a fundamental level. So he's in for the long ride. And I'm sure several of these other companies are in for the long ride. They get it. But as we all know, a lot of people are just going to pile on. Oh, Bitcoin's a new thing. I'll just buy some Bitcoin. And yeah, they may not be levered a ton on it. Maybe it's 5%, like you said. But when the downturn comes, and it will come, sorry, guys, I hate to be the wet blanket. There will be a correction at some point. Some will panic and sell. So yeah, buy Bitcoin. You might gain some extra short-term wealth by buying one of these Bitcoin treasury companies. If you want to gamble on it, that's your business. Full disclosure, I did buy one share of MicroStrategy like a year ago. Yes.
Gary.
It happened just as sort of like a thank you for all the work that Saylor has done in the space. And then it splits. So now I have 10 shares of it and I'll just hold on to that. But aside from that, just buy Bitcoin. We say this all the time, but you do what you want to do. It's your money, your judgment.
Can you get the actual stock certificate so you have it like framed behind you? Like, is it possible to actually call those in? Like, I'd like it mailed, please.
I think, I've tried to do this before with another stock that I had, and I think the cost of having them like print it up and mail it in was more than what the stock itself was worth. So I don't know. I'll just leave.
No, fair enough. No, I'm right there with you, pal. I really am. And then the other thing for me that is, I think we have to kind of go through two phases here, and I feel like we're almost coming to the end of one. The government announcements, favorable regulation, government's getting into the space. I do think that this really isn't the cycle of government adoption, that will be the next one, but this is kind of the first tease, the way corporations kind of came last cycle as well too. But even the impact of the news on at least price action in particular doesn't move things all that much. And I feel like as this continues on, the impact of the new treasury company announcements and new players getting in space really is starting to dampen down a little bit. And I think that that's actually an important thing because, again, it is just eventually going to savings. Plus, I'm kind of suspicious that I think that a lot of the Bitcoin on some of these treasury balance sheets is not actually being like bought at spot at market, that it's more of a, almost a movement on the balance sheet. It's somebody that has Bitcoin that is then transferring it to the company. There's not actually a US dollar exchange, which is why it's not reflected in the price. And they're doing that in exchange for equity in the company or something along those lines. So there was no USD exchange, right? How can we have all these treasury companies, but it's really not, moving the price? Well, one, people are selling, right? If you're in the space for a long time, it's over 100K. That probably was a magical number for you. I don't blame you. Enjoy the new lifestyle. Hope you have a great time. But I think there is some sort of like accounting shenanigans in terms of the Bitcoin treasuries going on behind the scenes. But to your point about like someone's going to have to sell off, or some people are going to get into a position where they have to sell. The next kind of psychological hurdle that will probably result in a major, not a major, but at least somewhat of a price correction that we've got to, like we're normalizing Bitcoin treasury companies. We need to normalize Bitcoin treasury companies selling their Bitcoin and nobody really caring. That it can be used for operating costs or expanding into new capital or infrastructure or equipment, right? But right now, everyone's just buy and hold. And obviously, I get why. But at some point in time, perhaps there is a opportunity that is worth selling that Bitcoin for that company, or to even just keep things going. And you just know that as soon as, especially when like we'll say like the top 10 on that list, as soon as one of them sells Bitcoin for the for the business operating costs, people are just gonna panic, right? It's we got to get past that sort of initial run. But
it'll happen. Humans are gonna human. It just, hold tight, hold fast. You know what we have long term.
100%. But with that, we are going to take another quick break for sponsor shoutouts. When we come back, Gary and I are going to explain to you again why self-custody is so important and why Canada, particularly this week, has been an absolute dumpster fire. So stick around. My country's not doing so great. Bitcoin is really, really needed here. We'll talk soon.
Bitcoin Well is the best place to be buying and selling Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And now with Bitcoin Well Infinite, it's also the best place to be making large buys at their OTC desk of over $50,000. Their white glove service gives you fast transactions, no slippage, and the lowest fees. You can scan the QR code on the screen or simply head to bitcoinwell.com/BTC Sessions to sign up today. And you can share your own personalized referral link to earn commissions.
If you've been around Bitcoin for more than a minute, you've definitely seen something made by CryptoCloaks. Since 2017, they've been the go-to for badass 3D printed Bitcoin gear, from custom home mining rigs to sleek hardware wallet mounts that make your setup look pro. I've been stacking Cloaks gear for years, and most recently I grabbed their Gamma case for my miner. Let me tell you, it turns some heads. You can customize everything, and of course, the legendary Bitcoin grenade, yeah, that's them. Hit the link in the show notes or scan the QR code to visit CryptoCloaks.com and stack your own custom Cloaks gear today.
DEBIFI is the best and easiest way to borrow against your Bitcoin in a non-custodial way. Funds are held in a multisig escrow where you hold a key, and the platform allows for excellent hardware like the Cold Card Mark IV and the Q. You have access to flexible conditions, the best rates, and institutional grade liquidity. If you're looking to make use of your capital, don't sell your Bitcoin, borrow against it. You can head over to debify.com to check them out, or simply scan the QR code on the screen.
And we are back. Wonderful. Guys, also too, if you are enjoying the content, if you're having fun today, please do us a favor, hit that like button. It really does help out a lot. But with that, let's continue on to the next story. So, Gary, did you hear about how Canada sucks this week?
I'm sure you'll tell me.
So we have this post here from Eva Chipiak. I apologize if I'm butchering that name. She is a Bitcoiner and she's a lawyer.
We're definitely butchering it. I'm sure we are.
I'm sure we absolutely are. And I owe you a steak dinner or a pint of beer or something. My apologies there. She was the cross-examiner for Trudeau regarding the trucker protest as well too, and in fact is a Bitcoin. She had one notable thing happen to her this week, but then she pointed out a whole bunch. And again, I wanted to illustrate this point because even in Canada's reputation, I think, is sinking around the globe, but still like at least fairly good, right? But even in like Western democracies in these wonderful liberal countries, we still see a whole bunch of kind of at least creeping totalitarian bullshit. Pardon my language. No, and that one I really mean, especially on the first point here. So Eva has pointed out to us here, we have just this week, Tamara Lich and Chris Barber, after being found guilty of mischief, Gary, earlier this year.
Very serious crime.
Right, very serious crime of mischief. The Crown is now seeking 7 years in prison for Tamara and 8 years for Chris. Right, and this
that tracks.
Going on.
7 to 8 years is pretty standard for mischief.
Of course, right? You're going to have a nice bouncy castle and music and dance in Ottawa to protest that all of our basic rights have been, the charter's been violated, rights have been stripped, and everyone's gone authoritarian, and we're going to lock you in prison. But violent crimes, we're not going to touch those. Wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. That could be icky.
Do you know how hard it is to clean up my lawn from toilet paper on the trees? I'm just saying, 7 to 8 years sounds pretty fair for me.
My God, I'm wishing them the best. It is absolutely ridiculous that Tamara is going through this and that Chris is going through this. And goddamn, pray for their families, right? We also had, additionally, Parks Canada revoked permit for an American Christian musician set to perform at the National Historic Site. Why? Because of public safety concerns regarding his political views. Gary, did you know that political views are dangerous?
Definitely dangerous. The wrong words are very dangerous.
Yep, absolutely. That's always a
words are violence.
Words are violence, guys. Words are violence, apparently. Additionally, we had a Nova Scotia man was removed from an Air Canada flight for wearing a t-shirt showing a real photo of former PM Trudeau in blackface. And like Eva does point out in here, I know it's here somewhere too. Yes, the photo of Trudeau, you've all seen it. It's him going, right, with the whole blackface, and he's in, I think, like there's multiple. I don't even know which one it was now, because was it with the one where he's in the Aladdin costume, or was the one where he was 16?
Yeah,
which blackface photo was it?
I always think of the one where he looks like Haji from Johnny Quest. That was his name, right? Haji.
Either way, photo on a t-shirt. May people will CBC watchers find it offensive? Probably. But is it illegal? Is it an issue? Like, no, absolutely, get over yourself. So he was removed from a flight. That you can't travel if you don't like the former PM, apparently. We also had the Federal Vaccine Injury Compensation Program has now been exposed for what it really is, a bureaucratic nightmare and, frankly, fraud on the people it was supposed to help. Years later, most injured Canadians still haven't seen a cent. And this one just immediately reminded me of the Arrive Can app fiasco that we have there. This terrible, like, show us your papers vaccine app combined with Passport in order to travel in and out of Canada. And I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it was something stupid. Like, this was a terrible designed app that somebody could vibe code in a weekend. And it was costing like millions upon millions of dollars, like something astronomical for two guys to do in a cabin in the woods. And it didn't even work. The whole thing didn't even work. If I'm not mistaken, it went to some contractors that just happened to be friends of politicians, right? Nothing unusual there, Gary.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a sense of your outrage here, because you're talking about a government program that hurt more people than it was intended to help, and another one that didn't work at all and run by a couple of guys in a cabin and cost way more money than it should have. And this is surprising you? I'm just trying to figure this out, Nathan, because for me this is just a Tuesday. Like, what are we doing?
I guess I'm in no way surprised, but I'm still outrageously disappointed. And this is the PG stuff as well too, right? I mean, where's my list, Gary? Anyways, moving on from that one quickly. What brought this to my attention was initially what happened to Eva. I apologize for that. That, of course, so she was the cross-examining lawyer against Trudeau, and RBC froze her bank account, citing vague risk concerns, just like 2002. This happened to the truckers. This happened to people who donated to the truckers as low as like $50. No charges, no hearing, no explanation. Basically, just your money is gone. Reminder that the money in the bank is not your money, and it's not even money.
Yeah. Yes. Most importantly, it's not even money. That's true. Yep. I mean, hey guys, I mean, you see this happening everywhere. You see, as Nathan said, formerly, reliable, liberal Western democracies, you see this sort of infringement and creeping. I don't know if I wouldn't put it as totalitarianism, but, a little bit of oppression from the state. You see it. So, plan accordingly. Self-custody. Look at other places. Look at other options. You don't have to move tomorrow, but just plan. Think things through. You never know what might happen.
Yeah, I'm going to go to your house, Gary, so get the pullout ready. I'm going to move the whole family in.
You and anybody else who happens to be listening right now is always welcome at my house.
That is a beautiful and a very, very generous offer. I wonder if this one will backfire. I hope not.
At the price of all your sets.
Oh, of course. There's going to be a natural entry fee as well, too. But no, you're absolutely right. And I even would put it in the category of totalitarianism in the same way, but it's just there is going to be different scales or degrees. Like, I think the word still holds is that if nothing else, it's an authoritarian move, right? In the same way that assault could be me spitting on you, which again is gross and like a little biological hazard, versus me hitting you with a 2x4 with some nails on the end. Like, we're kind of coming into that same sort of range. So I think it does still fit the definition. And again, it's just another reminder that you need to take self-custody, especially if you're here, you listen to Bitcoin. If you listen to this show, you probably have already, but it's just reaffirming the need that even though things are good, it is possible that they could get worse. And you just want to have that freedom go up option at your disposal. Now, I will also point out, because this was actually wonderful to see, EVA already has been rebanked, and it just so happened to be one that was in my neck of the woods. So shout out to CEO of Bull Valley Credit Union here in Alberta, Brett Oland, him and their wonderful team there. They basically immediately, I think, have set her up or are working on doing that. So she's moving over from RBC to a nice Alberta credit union that we have here. And why would they do that? Why would they be interested in doing that? Well, just like her, they're also Bitcoiners as well. So it's funny, actually, because I want to pull this up here. We have the US banks talking about, onboarding Bitcoin. We're going to get into Bitcoin. We're going to have Bitcoin services for their clients, where this wonderful Alberta credit union already does. So for anybody in the area too, Bull Valley Credit Union teamed up with Balance and the wonderful guys over at Bull Bitcoin. And we have a bank in Canada that is actually offering Bitcoin to their clients. So I thought that was awesome. I thought that the way they stepped up and helped her out immediately was really cool. And I wanted to give them some props for that.
Yeah, good job. You see, Canada's not all bad. There's some good Canadians left.
Actually,
good job, guys.
We have some solid Canadian Bitcoiners. I will give credit where credit is due, and Alberta just seems to be becoming a little bit of a hub here as well. No shade against like Montreal and Vancouver and everybody else as well, but I'm quite enjoying that at least the Calgary and Alberta Bitcoin scene. And I think that has to do with the whispers and at least the growing sentiment for separation that some of the more independence-minded people and the freedom-minded people are, of course, congregating here. Plus, it's like lowest taxes in the country as well, too. I did also want to mention at this point in time, talking about this as well, is that Gary and I did just do a wonderful episode with Alex Gladstein. And again, this sort of thing is a rare occurrence, which is why it's so noteworthy in the Canada and US. But this sort of financial repression happens all over the world in actual like more authoritarian and tyrannical regimes. And Bitcoin is the lifeblood for these people. It really can be an incredibly powerful tool. So if you haven't looked into Bitcoin as freedom money and the work that the Human Rights Foundation and like the Oslo Freedom Forum are doing, absolutely worth checking out. It was a wonderful conversation. And for anyone that is still thinking, maybe you're still on a mobile wallet, you haven't gone to the signing device yet, Ben did also drop a best Bitcoin wallets, kind of a side-by-side comparison for different devices to give you at least some more information if you're looking to get one for the first time or maybe get something new. Gary, I'm not sure. Have you played around with all these devices? We got Bitkey, Jade, the Ledger Flex, Cold Card Q, and Trezor.
I'm sorry, what? I'm distracted by Ben's handsome face.
Isn't it? It's just glowing. We miss you, Ben. We know that you're having a wonderful time, and we promise not to burn the place down. But I know it is a gorgeous face.
To answer your question, I've played with the Cold Card and the Trezor. I've not played with the other three. I actually, correction. I played with the Bitkey a little bit over at Bitcoin 2025 in Vegas, and I thought it was interesting. It was kind of a cool device. It
is. It's really cool. And for me, the Bitkey even kind of lines up with what we're looking at Frostnap there, where it's kind of a simplified multi-sig setup that maybe like what they're doing is a little bit more advanced, but it feels like they're really making the user experience quite friendly and simple and intuitive for getting people onboarded. So I don't like that the Bitkey has this multi-sig that's kind of a warm wallet in the sense that you've got two hotkeys with their server and then the one on your phone. I don't like that it doesn't have a screen, but I totally understand that there's a market for this and people that are not tech savvy, that don't have someone that can show them, that have a hard time getting in. And it could be a wonderful entry point or transition to something else down the line. But even just with that, Gary, was there anything else regarding even what happened in Canada or what your thoughts on that and just our previous conversation with Alex?
Alex is great. It was a pleasure to have him on. I first saw him back in 2024. Again, much to my discredit that I didn't really follow him earlier back in Nashville during the Bitcoin conference there, and the amazing things he was saying about Bitcoin is freedom money, which I guess we all sort of thought when we got into Bitcoin, that at least I thought that it would be kind of a bottom-up thing, the places where people can't be banked, where they're dealing with currency that you get paid in the morning, you can't afford dinner at night with your paycheck. Yeah. I thought people would latch on to that first, but it just kind of boggles me a little bit that there will be some countries people latch on to that big time, and then right next door, equally as poor countries, they're not. And what he said, to paraphrase, is it's just kind of a step thing. It's going to happen sort of organically, and it's not always going to be one giant kind of trend smoothly all the way up. And I guess so. I guess I was just kind of wondering why in some places, not the other. But that's, I guess, for me to research. But he just really great stuff, because we talk about price go up, which is wonderful. I would never poo-poo price go up. Price go up is wonderful. Number go up is wonderful.
Best marketing strategy, unfortunately.
Yeah. And being able to save and pass that down over time for your kids, it's wonderful. But there are people in the world who the most immediate thing they need is to be able to send value back and forth and not have the state or their bank connected to the state stop it,
Yep.
or charge a heavy fee for it. And there's so many people who could benefit from it, which, we just don't think about because we don't have those problems for the most part here in North America.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. And I briefly mentioned it, but I want to show it here as well too. Looking at additional new tech, we had some tech updates from Frostnap. They have put a nice video together here of the Frostnap Frontier, a very interesting little multi-sig device. And I'll pull this back to the beginning so you can check it out. I apologize to the team over there because this is going to be offensive, but the way that my brain thinks about this is it's basically like the human centipede.
Right there with you.
Devices. Yeah,
don't apologize.
Absolutely. But it's a wonderful, very intuitive way of having a multi-sig where essentially each unit is its own key, and then they're just daisy chaining them together. So
daisy chaining.
Daisy chaining, yes.
Yep.
Human centipede chaining. It's exactly the same thing.
Yep.
So really cool thing. I know they're taking pre-orders on that. Really cool device. My only little bit of a hot take, and this is completely, I got to investigate this more. I haven't played with one yet. There's probably something I'm missing, but it seemed like when you're going to actually send a transaction, so long as you have the phone in the wallet and you have the device, that there wasn't like a final pin check on the device itself, or maybe like a fingerprint check or something before it's able to authorize a transaction. Don't know if that's something that could be incorporated with like a firmware update, or maybe it's something that's already there, but regardless, I thought it was a really cool device. That was the only thing that caught my attention, was I'd want like some sort of a last hurdle on each key itself. Gary, I'm curious your thoughts on this kind of tech.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it looks cool. It looks like it's much easier for the user experience, which is where we all want to head ultimately. And if you want to, again, go to the analogy that from our first video of, the early days of the internet, or early days of computers to where we are now, back in the day, you used to go to CD / type something in on your MS-DOS prompt to get, program open. And now it's all just point and click. The user experience will be better with this over time as smart people come into the space, they create new things. And as we always say, with Bitcoin Mentor, ideally, in 10 years, we're not even around anymore because this is all just intuitive and people can do the stuff without our help. The only thing I would say to this, and I've not played with it yet, so I can't speak to specifically the ease of use, so it does seem pretty neat, is if I'm doing a multi-sig, I think just to be extra super duper double cautious, I'd like my different signing devices to come from different vendors. I know this is, it's probably fine, but if just to be extra super duper careful, that's something I try to do. That's just me.
No, fair enough. Yeah, the multi-vendor multi-sig is that top tier kind of paranoid setup, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Plus, it gives you an excuse to buy a bunch of different devices and play around with them, and that's always fun. Where I think this is going to have a lot of appeal is particularly, we'll say, new entrants coming into Bitcoin. They're taking a large position initially. They have places they could secure the keys, and they know they kind of want multi-sig. I feel like this, similar to like the BitKey, is a very intuitive to understand, really robust multi-sig setup, very easily done, right? You think of someone who's like 65 to 70, who's selling some real estate and buying Bitcoin. It's pretty intuitive to be like, you have 3 keys, keep these 3 keys in different locations, and you're good from there, right? So I think that has a strong benefit. Love to see it. Love to see new products and new tech. Before we do head out for today too, I briefly mentioned it, but I want to give a recommendation for today as well too. Just this week, we had the Bitcoin Mastermind Q2 2025 update with Preston Pish and Dr. Jeff Ross and HODL and Joe Carlosari. Personally, I just love it. I think it's a wonderful, fun conversation. I really enjoyed listening to that one this week, so I thought you guys might like the tip. If you haven't checked it out already, definitely worth checking out. And of course, if you are here and you're trying to get into Bitcoin, you may be new, intermediate, or more advanced, don't forget we have the BTC Session learn page. So btcsessions.ca, guys. Go there, stack your skills, keep learning, keep doing more. We got it all nicely broken down into beginner, intermediate, and master. Everything's organized for the tutorials. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to at least direct people if you have friends that are coming into the space. And let me see if I can pull up a QR code for that quick.
And while you do, I just want to add, it says 0 to hero at the top. Those words rhyme, so you know it's legit.
That's true. There's a QR code on the screen for you guys there. Go check out the btcsessions.ca/learn. Don't stop learning about Bitcoin. And finally, of course, Gary and I are both with Bitcoin Mentor. If you need some assistance, you need someone to kind of help you through this, to give you a little bit of guidance or speed run you, get you through your Bitcoin journey to a good place a little bit faster, we both love to work with you. You can scan the QR code or check out bitcoinmentor.io. And with that, sir, I think that wraps it up for today. It's
Yeah,
been an
man.
absolutely wonderful, wonderful time. I am Nathan with the BTC Sessions. This over here is Gary with the BTC Sessions. Both
That's
with
my
Bitcoin
fiat
Military.
name, by the way.
And this has been your daily session.